Okay, this is the good cylinder. That's the bad one. It made 140 on that side and 150 on that side. Still will work though. I'm hoping for better numbers from this one. Let's get the hone on it. Let's see how we fare. Okay. I can't feel anything. This one's clean. Now it's time to clean it up and assemble it. And what are we using? You know, don't ask. I got brand new pistons somewhere in this building. Yeah. Brand spanking new. Okay. Well, we're going to see what kind of numbers this thing makes. So I'm going to do some checking now just to see how the pistons fit. Okay. Brand new pistons. Just lube them up. Use a piston ring. Piston rod. Things all lubed up. I'm using assembly lube. Stuff is going to be well lubricated. There's the circle clips. Okay, we're going to get those on there and then drop the head back on. That hone turned out nice. Yeah, that looks good. Let's see, I'm looking for 150 to 160 psi. Well, this is what I like about this assembly lube. Okay, you put the grease in. Look at that. See how it doesn't move? It just stays there. I mean, look at that. It's completely upside down and the stuff remains where it belongs. This stuff is like chainsaw oil from hell. I use that on the vet. This is like, because this motor is going to be sitting for a few months. You know that lubrication is going to stay there. I mean, I'm sure it's going to work fine on a two-stroke application. There's tons of two-stroke in there. I put the same assembly lube into these. You can see the redness. I put it on the. You can see the red in there. See how it sits on the hone? I can see the red sitting on the hone. Best stuff. Okay. So when you put these on here and here, and you line up your pin, usually if you were to, like, at this point. Yeah, so I just in advance put the pin in there. You see it? That was a lot of fighting. They're not easy. I mean, there is a method. You come up with it and it works. So then I can slide. See, it's there. It's in the middle. I can't get the pin in from this way, so I got to do it from this way. Getting that little C-clip pin in there would be such a treat. If you don't think about that, I've seen this on other YouTube channels, and yeah, they make a good point when they do that. So I remembered this one's already done. This one's going on there right now. I'm gonna slide the pin in. When they're brand new, they slide in nice and easy. You don't need pullers or nothing like that. So anyways, onward. Okay, pistons are on, well lubed. Everything moves nice. See? Okay, the failure on one of these motors, this cylinder over there, is it overheated. I don't think they put this. These things got to go on and they got to be free flowing. Well, I don't know how you get this from this. The rings are actually stuck in there. It overheated. somebody had built it. I don't know why it's stuck in there. You know, I made sure that the rings on both of these would move really freely. This one still, I can't even get that out. Somebody spent like almost $200 fucking Canadian for this. This is not it's the right size. It hasn't worn. It just overheated. So, okay, gasket's in, torque down. Now we'll put the top one on. You can hear it even making compression. So, yeah, you can see it sliding down. Okay, well, before I forget, this is still loose. Okay, I gotta tighten that up. So, how they loosen these, people will usually stick a rope and fill up this area and then crank this, and that rope will stop it from moving, and then they'll tighten this up. You see, I'm using it right now, but look, it's loose. Right? So I got an idea. This is how I got them loose. Is that I'll lower the PTO piston, put this big piece of plastic right there. Okay. And then I'll get the cylinder head, put that on top, put a few bolts. These are all just temporary now. No gasket, don't need it. Okay, crank it down, that should be enough. Crank them down. Right? Okay. Take the wrench and start tightening it. Okay. Now I gotta do this off camera. I'm gonna tap this down a little bit and then it should be snug. See if I got some blue Loctite here. Watch, I'll only have red. Nope, blue lock. Okay. Yeah, we'll take that off and put some of this in there. Hey, that's the plan. Okay, it's time to torque the head down. I couldn't see the number, so I had to like go upstairs and anyways, so yeah, we'll torque this down. Okay, so heads are torqued down. This is, I'm going to retorque the cylinders to the crank housing. Now I'm working on the what do you call this, the magneto side. So that Bendex I bought. Alright, this Bendex is for the other machine. I repaired this. You can take these apart. There's like an S or C clip on here that you can pop off and remove all this. The reason why I repaired that, well, because this motor here, one of these gears was broken off. So as a result, I bought this new one. I have tried it, it works. So here we are, we're at this point. I'm going to put the flywheel back on, put the magneto on, but I'm not going to seal it. And I'm going to test everything. I'll do a compression test on it and relay those results on these videos. Okay, now we're going to install the reeds. Okay, it's one of them there. Okay, I'm ready to do a compression test on this guy. I got it all kind of wired up. I opened up the intakes. These are the block plates so I can pressurize the system. I just got to put the phone in here and demonstrate the compression. Okay. 1 gauge. See if we can bring that in a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. 170. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, let's do the other side. Okay, it's the PTO side. Okay. $170. This. Okay. So the next order of business is going to be to pressure test this, and I'm going to use this pop-off tester. It's a vacuum tester just for the gauge. If you introduce air up into one of these spark plug openings, the pressure will show here, 7 or 8 pounds, and let it hold for a few moments. I just got to get a fitting for that. So in the meanwhile, I thought I would test the stator in this, and I know that the stator in this is good, but the stator in this particular one was in question for the charging. I know that it runs the ignition because I've already tested it for that. So what I did was I took the multimeter, I tested the values of resistance and everything across these wires. It did it again on these wires because they're the same, and got the same values, so I know that this is good because this was good before I rebuilt it. Now another thing to touch on. These are the same motors. Okay? You can clearly tell. Alright? There's the unassembled one. Now, bring in the attention of when the person who rebuilt this prior to me getting it did it, they didn't have one of these O-rings that fits on here. So what they did was they used orange RTV sealant. I've cleaned this and still it's falling off of it from inside and from outside. Now, I bring this up only because I know they couldn't get one of these O-ring seals. This one came out of this motor. I don't believe you can get these, but you can make them. I want to test the pressure on this as well, so this is going to come apart again. I'll put this back in there. This one now, what I can do is measure this O-ring and then order a length of it and make my own gasket. And you just crazy glue the end, and that should do it for you. The problem with this was when they sealed it before, water got in. Look how messy it is. Okay, I've cleaned this out. This is the best I can get it. It still works, fortunately. Now, there was another issue. This is where the Bendix sits. Right here. Okay, I needed to repair my old Bendix. The Bendix that was in here had a chipped tooth. So I decided to take the Bendix that was in this motor apart, and as you can tell, it obviously wasn't working because it was all dried up in there, and it also had all this orange sealant in it. And I have a feeling that that orange sealant might have been one of the reasons why this failed, because the springs and all that were obliterated. They were in pieces. It was all inside here. Just because you smooth it on there and then the inside, when you press it together, all goes in here. It was all over the place. So I would try to avoid using too much of that sealant, or orange RTV, or any RTV for that matter. You really got to be very conservative with applying it. Anyways, this is the gear assembly off of the broken one, and this is the part I was able to salvage from this assembly. Now I have a good Bendex, because they're between $50 and $100 to replace. There's a brand new one in there, so I have one for this motor, so that's good. Okay.